Today we want to talk about Lies of P and Lords of the Fallen, and which of those two will catch on better with fans. So Lies of P is very clearly inspired by Bloodborne.
Yeah, I love the way this looks. The only bad thing I have to say about this game is the release date. Game Pass, perfect. Pinocchio, like that classic fairy tale setting, awesome. I love the direction this is taking. I can't wait to see what that world looks like and what the bosses look like and how they kind of pull from that story.
They did a good job of setting them apart.
It has really good style.
Yeah, the style is... Because, I mean, if you look at the gameplay, it's very much Bloodborne, which is what fans
and people
want.
say, like, the people that's had hands-on with it and stuff, it's like this is the closest a FromSoft clone has felt to a FromSoft game.
Really? That's awesome.
Yeah, that's really... I mean, like, everything I hear about this game is great. It's just the release date's the biggest, like, about this.
Yeah, you said the word clone, and that is a very fair word. Generally, people associate.
It's
that
not
with
a bad thing. It's not a bad thing.
Not.
Yeah.
All art is imitation. Like the best art imitates something and makes it better. So if this can take Bloodborne, one of the best games of all time, imitate it in a better way. Maybe not better, but a equally good way, and make it this aesthetic of its own. That could be fantastic. We're talking about these two games together. You tend to lean towards Lies of P.
Oh yeah, I just like that. I feel like the story and setting, like that's right up my alley.
And Bloodborne tends to be more your style of FromSoft game. I lean towards Lords of the Fallen because this leans towards Elden Ring and Dark Souls, and those are my FromSoft games. I love Bloodborne, but those are more what I think of when I think of FromSoft. And Lords of the Fallen, I am super excited for, even though it is directly a clone, down to some of the characters very much imitating the bosses of Elden Ring. But I think it's going to distinguish itself with some of the mechanics. Like, they are combining the right elements of FromSoft games. The lantern mechanic and the umbral world mechanic is a great way of tying in a new mechanic, and also like the Sekiro 2 lives, multiple chances at it kind of thing that's a little forgiving, but also they're doing a cool twist on it. When you die, you come back in basically the upside down, to coin a Stranger Things thing, where the world has shifted into like this hellscape basically. And I'm super interested how different that will be, that I'll be in this one spot and all of a sudden I die and I'm in a scarier version of it. It could be really cool. Plus they've integrated that into the actual traversal and the mission that you're on. I think it looks really good.
With every trailer that Lords of the Fallen gets, I am more and more impressed by the gameplay. Like, it just looks very clean.
Yeah.
Same for Lies of P. Like, it's a lot of work to try to make a FromSoft clone.
And not feel cheap.
Yeah. And I think both of these are going to be really good. It's just it comes down to release date on both of them. Both of them have bad spots in this.
Yeah, Lies of P was in a great spot where it was in August and it was competing with a FromSoft game and Armored Core, but a different kind of game.
Yeah.
September's tough. You got Starfield, you got
Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, so I think Lords of the Fallen has a harder track, honestly, because it's the same day as Mirage, Assassin's Creed Mirage, and right before Alan Wake and Spider-Man. So it's got a really tough time going. I want to talk about the success of these games. How successful do you think each of them will be? In terms of sales, in terms of reviews, what do you picture for these games?
Well, Lies of P, you won't ever get you probably won't get sales number because of the Game Pass deal.
That's true.
But I think Game Pass, I think Game Pass helps this situation a lot because Starfield and Lies of P are both September games and they're both on Game Pass. You're not shelling out money for these.
Right. Yeah.
It's just downloading and having. It's more of a time, like being able to sink time into it. Lords of Fallen, I don't think is coming to anything as far as like Game Pass or PlayStation Plus so $60, $70 game, and it's right there in the middle of Mirage and Alan Wake and Spider-Man. It's a harder sell.
I do think it's unfortunate that
but I think Lords of the Fallen will review better.
Really?
Than Lies of P.
I think it has the bones of having the original Lords of the Fallen, which was not great. Like, it was okay. It was a very middling Souls-like. I think they could learn from that and review better from it. I think Lies of P has potential. It has more likelihood of being close to a 90. I think Lords of the Fallen will be like an 83 would be my prediction.
Oh, really? I just... Based off of what we've seen so far, because Lies of P does have that, it being a Bloodborne clone, it does look like it's stuck in that PS4 era, whereas Lords of Fallen that has nothing to do with review score. I'm just saying, as far as first impressions, Lords of Fallen looks like a next gen game. Where
it
Lies
looks
of P,
more AAA, even though I don't think it is, but it looks like it's it looks like it's trying to be that. I think sales numbers, you have to look at Lies of P is going to take some of those numbers away because it's coming out first and it's a Game Pass game. And people are like, well, I already got this Souls game, or maybe they're even done with it and they're like, I'm a little tired of Souls games. There's other games coming out around Lords of the Fallen because you're marketing to a lot of the same people with those two games. So I would say Lies of P may not sell more because of the Game Pass thing, but I think it will be very successful on Game Pass and on PlayStation.
In the following weeks of Lies of P, you'll hear about how it was the most, Starfield, but it'll be one of the most, probably the second highest downloaded game of that month.
Yeah. Oh, I think so too.
As far as Game Pass. Yeah. It's competing with Starfield, but they're both on Game Pass. So it's like, how much is it really competing? It's just a time thing.
Right. And I think there are very different types of players playing those games. So I think Game Pass wise, those.
Are you planning on playing both of these?
I wouldn't have downloaded, or I wouldn't have bought Lies of P. It being on Game Pass, I'm very much going to play it. And I think it could catch on because I love Bloodborne enough that I would have played it at some point. But there's so many other games, like you said, that I wouldn't have spent the money and then it sit, and wait until other games. Lords of the Fallen, I'm trying to decide whether I want to buy that or Mirage. And it's like, they're very different, but they're sort of similar. I probably would lean towards Lords of the Fallen just for like value. It's such a big game, you get a lot out of it. But yeah, I'm definitely going to play both.
I'm just so impressed by Lies of P as far as property. Like when they were sitting in the room coming up with ideas for this, it's like the world of Pinocchio doesn't sound like something that would fit in this like style of game. Yeah. But they made me believe that it could be, and I'm ready to see like if they do more in that, like another fairy tale or some kind of story that we kind of know a little bit about, but they expand it.
Like, I would like them to go into more like grim stuff because the Pinocchio thing I'm a little tired of since that public domain, everything, like it's all the rights have lifted. You see so much of it now. It just feels like, oh, you can do this now, so everyone's doing this now. Now, this is very different than most Pinocchio things you see, so I'm not like mad at it. It's a cool version of Pinocchio, but I never really cared about Pinocchio anyway. So that's really the core of why I'm more excited for Lords of the Fallen because I can't get enough of fantasy, games like this. Like I could play Elden Ring type games for the rest of my life and be happy, but like Lies of P I think it has the potential to break through on that kind of game for me because I'm not a big fan of like the French Revolution era. Like it's not really for me.
I'm usually not. It's really just the Pinocchio stuff that's got me interested in this. Like I'm not a very big on French Revolution and stuff like that too. So
it really seems like they're using that a little much when you watch the trailers. There's not much puppety thing about it.
Jiminy Cricket was in the last trailer.
Really? What was he doing?
You just heard his voice at the end.
But none of the bosses are on strings or anything. There's nothing marionette about it.
But I feel like we will see like the mainstays, like the big whale, and then the guy who kidnaps them and takes them to the island. Like, I feel like there'll be touchstones for that story that we know.
So you expect they'll actually tell the Pinocchio story?
I don't think so, but I think we will see familiar characters from that.
I mean, I would rather that because right now
because you're not even playing as Pinocchio, right?
I don't think so. What they've shown me doesn't feel like the Pinocchio story. It's more like in a Pinocchio world. Yeah. And I'm like, I can't put that all together in my head. Yeah. But yeah, I'm excited for both of these games. I'm not trying to talk down Lies of P. It's more of a comparison thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But we want to know what you think. Which these two Souls-like games do you think will land better? Which one are you more excited for? Leave that in the comments below. But other than that, you stay nerdy.